Behind the spectacle of glamorous drivers and spurting champagne, there are up to 300 people in each Formula One team working towards a common goal. At the core of every race team are the mechanics in the pit crew, who work the longest hours for the lowest pay and the least glory. But between pushing cars around, they do get the glamour of travelling the world, on the company with their mates.
Everybody that you speak to says that it must be a glamorous life. It is a glamorous life in some ways, yeah, for sure, but there's a lot of hard work involved in it.
Earning a fraction of the wages the drivers take home, the pit crew spend most of their lives away from their families and are on call around the clock to go to Montreal, Monte Carlo, or Oxfordshire at 6 in the morning. Claudio Corradini is one of the few non-English mechanics at Benetton. Even when the team aren't away to race, he is, in England, away from his Italian home.
I miss my family, but this is something I've chosen. It's easier to be married than be engaged doing this kind of job, because, you know, if you're married, you know, there's always somebody at home. If you're not married, but you have a girlfriend, you know, it's difficult to keep the relationship.
The mechanics are preparing for a day of pit stop practices. It may be lacking the glamour of the circuit, but the lads can be guaranteed to keep each other amused.
Boys, girls.
That's the British, man. One of them on the right.
Let me have a look.
One on the right with Jigger. The white's handsome.
Yeah.
Jerry Halliwell.
Their destination is a disused airstrip in Northamptonshire. Here they will hone the skills that have led to them being widely regarded as the best crew in the pit lane. But they're also intensely safety conscious.
We have our name on the overall to recognise who's inside the overall in case something happens. Well, we never use that, but we must have it. So if something happens and you have to go to hospital or just lay down on the ground, they know already what kind of blood you need and everything.
Although it might sound overcautious for a practice, the Benetton team have good reason to be wary of pit stops. Only 2 years ago, a refuelling accident on Jos Verstappen's Benetton resulted in some of the mechanics having to retire.
Quite a percentage of the guys left here were involved in that. It's a very frightening experience to be involved in, and it's something I wouldn't want to repeat.
It's just a routine pit stop, but we had no problems before. And when they put the nozzle in, it was only about 3 litres of fuel came out, but it went on the bodywork and straight onto the brakes, and it just exploded in a big fireball. And it was just luck. I mean, at the time I had to go around the other side of the car, and I saw the spray of fuel, and I just legged it into the garage to get an extinguisher or something. And then when I looked round, I saw, like, you know, a couple of my mates on fire and stuff, and it was quite a scary incident actually. But I wouldn't want to do it ever again. No way.
Despite the accident, the Benetton team hold the record for the fastest Formula One pit stop.
I'm taking the left rear wheel off. They ask you to do the job quickly and well. Of course, more time you do it, you know, it's not like the first time, but if you forget something loose, then you find out there.
It is difficult because there is all these people around you on the floor. You have to stop the car on the correct place without scaring at them, because the speed is anyway high, so it's difficult.
My role in a pit stop is to make sure that everybody's safe before I let the car disappear down the pit lane. Make sure all the wheels are on, make sure the fuel's in, everybody's back out of the way, and then no cars coming down the pit lane. So I've basically got overall control of the car.
The public face of the Benetton Formula One team is on the other side of the Atlantic in New York, preparing for the only North American Grand Prix of the year in Montreal. Driver Gerhard Berger has been flown in, but following a bout of flu during the Monaco Grand Prix, he's still not back to full fitness.
Usually before the Montreal Grand Prix we try and create some activities in North America, which isn't the strongest market for Formula One. We've got a press conference with about 200 American journalists, really to preview the Grand Prix this upcoming weekend.
I didn't tell him anything.
At the Benetton shop, press officer Patrizia Spinelli is explaining the schedule to Berger.
He didn't call me 14 days when I was in the hospital.
Okay, why don't we do this interview and then we do ESPN.
His nasal problems have been exacerbated by the flight over, and the TV crew about to interview him have found out.
Your sinuses, what's going on there?
Well, I had a quite heavy problem. I get an infection of the sinus and couldn't get rid of it yet. I had an operation last week and I'm still fighting with it.
For Mr. Berger, thank you very much. And I have to make an official apology for the silliness of the questions.
Already unhappy with the way things are going, Patrizia is in for another shock the following morning as Gerhard Berger's condition worsens.
So you guys know what happened, right?
Not exactly.
Well, Gerhard is going back because he's not feeling well. What's happening is we managed to find Jean. He's coming to the press conference. So at 5 o'clock he will be there, okay?
With Gerhard on his way back to Europe, decorations and advertisements have to be hastily rearranged.
That's been engraved.
No, yeah. I have to be careful because it's not dry yet.
But there's one thing Patrizia has forgotten.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We even celebrated last year with a cake. We don't have a cake.
Our guest driver from Benetton Formula One is not Gerhard Berger, as was previously announced, but Jean Alesi, who some of you know very well because he was here. Gerhard apologizes for not being here with us tonight, but he has a recurrence of, I'm going to read literally, a sinus infection which happened on his way to New York City, and he needs to get treatment. We wish him a quick recovery and wish him well.
Back in Oxfordshire, the pit crew are unaware of the drama unfolding in America. The car is being stripped for transportation across the Atlantic, and, to add to the disappointment of the season's results so far, no one knows who will be driving it when it gets there.
We're sort of struggling again and people are down, but you have to try and forget all that and just, think, we're going to win the next song.
I feel myself a little bit responsible, but I mean, it's part of the job, it's part of the teamwork.
Yeah. It's difficult to pinpoint, the actual problem. Why aren't we winning? But I don't know. I think it'll be okay. We'll get there in the end. It's just, we haven't got a right to win. It's hard work, and to win a Grand Prix is, it's a massive thing. When we were winning when we had Michael, you got a bit used to it. You take for granted we had a win. Oh, we've won again, but. Boy, when you don't win, you really do miss it for sure.
As soon as the Benetton team arrive in Montreal, the replacement for Berger is announced. It's the team's test driver, 22-year-old Alexander Wirtz.
On Tuesday, I was coming here anyway because it's my job as a test driver. And on Wednesday, very late, I think 8 or 9 o'clock, we said, okay, now it's definitely that I have to drive and replace Gerhard. It's Gerhard Berger's cockpit, and my job this year is test and spare driver, and now he has some problems, he's ill. So for him, I hope he recovers, but this gives me a chance and gives me my Grand Prix debut. So I'm happy on one side, but it's a little bit sad because it's also he's Austrian and I'm a patriot, and this makes a little bit difference, but anyway, I have to take it.
Okay, we're going to do a start, we're going to do 2 time laps, and then we're going to come into a practice pit stop and go out and do 1 more lap. Let's go, please.
Wirtz is thrown in at the deep end and drives the Canadian track for the first time only 48 hours before the race. Jean Alesi watches closely the young man who is now his teammate and rival.
He is very solitaire by himself, always. Doesn't ask anything, so if he's happy like that, why not? I don't want to put any shade on him, of course. But if he wants some advice, I will be here.
Wirtz completes his first practice, 11th fastest, half a second behind Alesi.
I'm absolutely delighted for Alex. He's like a breath of fresh air, young guy who's obviously very talented.
Although the team hasn't achieved a win all season, the arrival of Wirtz has coincided with an upturn in the team's spirits. For the pit crew, on the way back to their hotel, the exuberance leads them to encourage the driver to do his party piece, making the minibus backfire.
It'll only just wake you up.
Hello. Hey, so what are you doing tonight?
Despite an early start for tomorrow's qualifying day, Claudio's roommate, Oz, is getting ready for a night out.
You just get used to it. It's just like, you know, anything. You just get into a sort of a way of doing, a way of life, just going out, getting, 4 or 5 hours sleep. But, you can do it. When you go, as long as you don't go really stupid and, drink too much, I can go out 3 o'clock in the morning, get up at 6. As long as I'm not really drunk, I can just be normal. It's not a problem. And some of the guys will go, save away expenses, like they come away with $400 and they'll go home with $300-400, but that's down to them. But if you're in a place like this, you've got to go out and enjoy yourself and have a look at the place.
Got yours?
Yeah, happy?
Oz and his teammate John are being taken out by a local Canadian who's kindly offered to drive, but doesn't know what he's let himself in for.
No, don't rev the engine.
Where are we now?
It's McDonald's. That's where you brought us. The one is in Everton. We're not leaving until we come to...
Let's steal this car. What time are you up in the morning?
No, it's a hairdresser's car, don't look.
It's on Thursday for drinks on. Cookie.
Excuse me, we're hairdressers. And your roots need doing. I bet they're still looking over here as well, aren't they?
Morning.
It's a quiet bus as the lads contemplate a long day ahead. There's still time to poke some more fun at Oz, though, as he explains his jobs for the morning.
Get the car started, try and warm them up. We start at 9 o'clock, first session. That finishes at 9:45.
Yeah, struggling. Fucking flat out. Might move my box. Might move it back. Have another cup of coffee.
Getting out of here, Oz, isn't it?
In an empty circuit, the lads warm up the cars and the drivers arrive. Qualifying high up the starting grid has been Benetton's main problem this year, and so it's a crucial day, but confidence is at a new high.
It's taken us a long time to really get to the bottom of what the problems were with the car. I hesitate to say that we're there yet, but I think we're finally getting on top of it. And this circuit, I think, if we perform well here, then I think we'll be pretty sure that we've made progress, because this would be a difficult circuit. It's one of those circuits where I think we'd have trouble, so we're hopeful.
The experienced Alesi is the first Benetton driver to go out.
Christian, make sure Alex is aware that John's on the circuit. Okay, Alex. John is on the circuit at the moment doing his flying lap. If I can see there's going to be a problem, I'll radio you or we'll radio him.
To watch. The man who could actually be taking pole position, John Alesi. He's had just one podium finish so far this year, and he is well off the pace in this first segment.
Wirtz is planning to go out again, but after using all his laps, Alesi will have to settle for a disappointing 8th on tomorrow's grid.
Try and get a good time at the first lap, but then just keep going.
Wirtz challenges his teammate's place, but is about to come unstuck.
And look at that, because that is Alexander Wirtz.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm fine. No problem, just wait for the marshals.
The session is now over for Wirtz as well, and he'll start the race in 11th place.
Let's go and chill out.
With the place 11th, I would have been happy. And also, if they told me my gap to Jean Alesi is 3.5 tenths, I would say, yeah, that's fairly good for a debut. But of course, I expected more. You're always expecting more, you know. All the race drivers just want to go and faster, even myself. And I always give a hard time to myself.
The pit crew have now to change the chassis on Wirtz's car in time for tomorrow's race. A job that the young driver knows is a big one and feels guilty for causing.
It's a bit, at least we've got
the whole night?
No. Should be out of here in 7 hours.
I just say them, okay, what happened, I explain them. They already know that was some dirt and some grass on the circuit, and I lost it due to this. But I just want to make sure that everything is okay, it's a good relationship. And I think they agree, I just have to pay a round of beer now.
It's a bit disappointing today, actually, because we've been very competitive. It sounds glamorous, obviously, coming to places like Monte Carlo and Montreal and stuff. And it is, in a way, but when you actually get here, the work's very hard. And very sort of demands on your mind, and just physical hard work, actually. Well, like I said, we was up at 6 this morning, and we're going to finish at midnight tonight for sure, because we've got a chassis change, so we'll be late tonight.
For the nervous Wirtz, his first competitive day in Formula One ends with a pep talk from the chief designer, Nick Worth.
Best thing you can do, and then if you finish the race on a maybe last or whatever, you will be here on the, I think not more than 10 cars when you finish, and that's better than crashing.
But no, you won't finish in that position though. Your performance level today, you know, you're basically one of the fastest guys there. I would say when you get yourself sorted out, you'll be, you know, easily in the top 10. I think a lot of the guys in the top 10 are going to have a problem. And you've just got to make sure you stay in front of the guys behind you, and it just happens automatically. You know, you never know what will happen. You might find yourself on the podium, you know, if everyone's tyres explode, and you know, it's just amazing what can happen in these situations.
5 minutes to go.
The last-minute preparations are underway. Alexander Wirtz receives a calming massage, and the pit crew don their fireproofs, ready for the all-important pit stops.
Okay, John, to the grid, please.
With the drivers in the cars, there's little the lads can do until a pit stop is called. From the off, Alesi immediately shows his trademark fast start and jumps from 8th to 4th, and with the leaders dropping out, Wirtz soon follows him up to 7th. "15 laps into the race, and Jean Alesi is in a dogfight with Giancarlo Fisichella for 3rd place. The pit crew are given signals to get ready for the pit stop.
In now, Jean, please, in.
The pressure builds. Alesi is less than a second behind Fisichella. A good pit stop could mean they overtake him in the pit lane.
Okay, Jean, just remember that long brake pedal, please.
And they do it. With Alesi now in a podium position, the crew's attention turns to Alexander Wirtz. But celebrations turn to despair when he comes on the radio with some bad news.
My gearbox is broken. I can't come forward. Car stopped. I finished radio now. I have to go out, okay? Okay, good job, Alex. Sorry about that. I switch off now completely, it's okay? Yes, Alex, yes, sorry about that.
Wirtz's debut is over, and his pit crew are distraught.
John Herbert is 20 seconds behind and will not stop again. You have to keep pushing. John Frenson will definitely stop again. Definitely stop.
Alesi is still ahead of Fisichella and holding on to third. When race leader Coulthard goes into the pits, he momentarily moves up to second behind Michael Schumacher. But two dramatic twists are about to change the fortunes of Alesi's race.
He stalled it. Schumacher leads. Schumacher's gone through. He's leading the Canadian Grand Prix, and that is Olivier Panis. It's a big one. Olivier Panis, a big one.
Jesus. Quite a big shunt, actually.
It's unclear how badly Panis is injured, and the race is temporarily stopped.
Your position 2. Just look after everything at the moment. Coulthard is stuck in the pits. Schumacher is leading.
The race is stopped completely.
Race is over. That's considered parc ferme over there at the moment.
Looks like he's damaged his legs quite badly, and they've decided to stop the race. If the race goes over 3 quarters of race distance, they can say the race is finished anyway. So, and we finished second in the end, so that's not bad actually.
The emergency services tend to Panis, and an unusually subdued set of drivers make their way to the podium.
You cannot go on the podium and make yourself happy, because I was in Imola when Ayrton had an accident and Ratzenberger. So we heard many things, you know. Of course, we never heard about something very bad, but we heard about 1 leg and 2 legs. So it was not clear, and when it's like that, it's better to wait before to celebrate anything.
It's confirmed that Panis has survived the crash, and the Benetton team can begin celebrating and analysing the race.
Yeah, I was trying to save my brakes as much as possible, and I start pushing. Yeah. But then the drive shaft.
Okay, we're talking Monday.
Okay, thank you.
See you tomorrow.
I'll be on Tuesday.
As the drivers and engineers make their way to the airport and home, the pit crew's packing up work is just beginning, before they get a chance to start the celebrations.
This year we didn't celebrate much so far, so we're gonna take a chance, huh? You can join us. It's basically like an army or a football team. For the best result, they have to know each other. They have to get on by one.
I have to sleep with him and work with him all day. We're like 24 hours a day.
You basically have to work with me, not to sleep with me.
Yeah, I would never want to sleep with him.
We've worked so hard and we've had such disappointments for the guys. It's nice to be able to sort of silence your critics a little bit and say, well, look, we know what we're doing, and hopefully we can continue to build on this to a bright future for Benetton.
In the next year in the fast lane, we follow the marketing director and press officer as they close in on the biggest deal of the season in time for the British Grand Prix. The man who provides the money is about to give Benetton some surprise news.
We've had a little bit of a piss and panic in the last couple of days. Marketing Week picked up the fact that I'm moving.
However, the sponsorship breakthrough is just around the corner.